Welcome to the Ingaged Podcast, the show for business owners who want straight talk on technology, data, and the systems and solutions that keep their companies moving. Each episode tackles a real problem, maps out practical solutions, and delivers proven tactics you can use to choose the right tools and run a profitable business.
DJ, thanks so much for joining me here on the Ingaged Podcast. Appreciate you taking time out.
Thanks for having me.
So if you could give a little perspective to the audience, the company you're with, and then also how you came to be in the home improvement industry.
I have Absolute Aluminum in Venice, Florida. I've been in the business 37 years and started the business basically because my dad had rented space to a guy that was in this business, in the aluminum business in Florida.
Got it. And what kind of projects do you guys do?
We do screening. We're primarily screen enclosures now, screen enclosures and structure pergolas.
Got it.
But because I've been in business 37 years and I was an entrepreneur chasing shiny shit, I did we did about 40 products until starting to know more about scaling and growing my business. So we've narrowed it down.
Got it.
The hedgehog effect.
Yeah. My business mentor says it very simply: simple scales, complex fails.
That's it.
It's the simplest way. And we've done the same thing in our business, looking at the different ways we go to market, the way we support our customers. We've done a lot of the same things. And the more you can refine, sometimes you need a year of taking away and not a year of adding in order to get the growth that you're looking for. So let's talk a little bit about technology, right?
Yep.
So as you're a leader in your business and you're thinking about technology projects across your business, what's the process, or how do you think about bringing new technology into Absolute Aluminum?
I spend the majority of my time working on my business. I'm not in it day to day. So I go to networking events like Top 500 and every other event and run into vendors, try to find the latest and greatest. I think one of the things that we are concerned with when we're looking at something, because our tech stack is so big now, is integration with other products.
Yeah. So as you're thinking about something new, if it's not going to add value and leverage to something you already have, it's going to be a much bigger lift or a bigger decision to actually even consider bringing it into the business.
Correct. Like Ingaged, for instance.
Right.
The integration with our CRM, Market Sharp.
Yep.
And then at the time, integration with Rilla.
Yep.
That was a big deal for us.
That's right. So once you've decided, you meet someone like me at a conference, and you're like, we should really consider this. How does that proliferate down through the organization? Does it end with you and you're just like, hey guys, we're going to do this? Or do you have a team that you hand off to? How do you guys think about that?
I do. I have a leadership team, and we're an EOS company. I don't know how much you know about EOS.
Love it. Yeah.
Everything is very systematic in our approach to doing everything.
Yeah.
Measuring KPIs and how we operate our business day to day. So I typically will bring back technology and help my team understand why it would benefit us and try to get their belief in it.
Yep.
And then it'll end up on our VTO, and in our quarterlies, we'll pull everything down, and then it'll get handed off to someone that's accountable, because if more than one person's accountable, no one's accountable.
Yeah.
And it'll get handed off to them, and then they will check out other, try to poke holes in it.
Sure.
Really.
Which is great.
And they'll do a little bit more investigating. I'm a high ID on the disc profile, so I see things, I like them, I see a need, I think they're going to help us improve as a business. Fall in love with it, where they don't fall in love with anything.
Yeah. Now, for people who don't know EOS, the idea of having quarterly rocks that you're moving towards, or just objectives.
Yes.
Someone's using OKRs, whatever. There's all these different systems.
Sure.
That is, if the technology doesn't fit within a current priority, it's really hard to get it proliferated down through the organization. So
Right.
tying it to a quarterly objective that some one person has accountability for probably makes some pretty successful implementations.
It does. And early on in business, again, because I'm an entrepreneur and I love shiny objects, I would, grab things, maybe not go through that process as well and not implement it as well.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think is super important is helping your team understand the lower, the people that are going to be using it every day on the front lines, whatever it may be, whether it's in fabrication or anything, is helping them understand the why.
That's right.
Because that's where the failure comes in, right? People don't like change.
That's right. So that's actually a great segue to the next question, which is if you think about that end user, because it doesn't, you could love it.
Right.
But if the 25 people that you're saying it's going to make their life better don't buy in, how do you bridge that gap?
Leadership, coaching, right? I can love the product, but if it's not rolled out properly, people just don't like change, right? And especially if you're talking, and a lot of this stuff that's been coming out recently is all sales driven. And I don't know anybody that doesn't like change more than sales reps, right?
Or well, think of the impact, right? If all of a sudden I say, hey, by the way, Bob, your sales and your quota is now going to be tied to this new piece of technology that you're terrified of, or that we haven't trained you on, or we didn't get your buy-in on, like it's a little scarier though.
Right.
Yeah. So do you have a training program? Do you have time? Like, how do you ensure that the idea goes into the rocks and then comes out the other end properly supported so that the person who's actually going to be required to be accountable for using it is properly ready and up to speed on that tech?
So if we identified, like we're going to use Engage, for instance, okay, I like Engage. I think I'd like to use this product. So it ends up being somebody's rock for the quarter. And, sometimes we may be a little bit farther down the road with it where they can take that all the way through and have an implementation designed at 90 days.
Got it.
Maybe it's going to be a rock this quarter to find out, okay, are we going to use Engage or are we going to use,
something else? Totally.
And they're doing their due diligence. So sometimes it would take 2 quarters to do that implementation, but there would be an implementation by the time we're ready. It's go time.
That's right. I think what a lot of people do is they'll take tech and they'll say, we're going to use this without that proper planning. And if it's going to take 2 quarters to plan, I tell our sales team all the time, please don't sign someone who's not ready. Because it only creates a disgruntled customer, a frustrated customer, or someone who feels they're not getting the value that we promised. And I'd rather it take 2 quarters to close that deal, but it closed successfully and they're ready to actually do the deployment, because nothing worse than having something that you're spending money on sitting on the shelf, not actually providing the value that you bought it for.
And we've all had that happen many times. If you don't have those systems in place,
that's right,
it'll happen.
Oh, totally. So is there an example that you can think of where you bought something? I could have a garage full of these that we could go through. Where you bought something and you weren't able to realize the value that you originally thought. You had the idea and it just, for some reason, didn't work out. You don't need to name names. Protect the guilty here.
Right. Yeah. It happens. It'll happen every time if I don't follow that. So I can think of 2 technologies right now that either the person in charge of the department that was going to utilize it did not get belief from his or her team, and didn't give them the why and how it was going to benefit them. Especially, a lot of this tech feels like Big Brother stuff.
It does.
Even Engage, because they know that we know how long they're on a slide.
Yeah. Totally.
And then when you partner a Rilla or a Ciro with it, but you have to give them the why, and you have to help them understand how it's going to benefit them. Otherwise, it's going to fail. But I've used AI answering softwares and had them not go so well. And again, I think that is because if you don't have your process of how you deal with stuff and it's dealt with the same way every time with, okay, are we going to decide to use this in 10 days? And now you're going to have 80 days to come back and give us how you're going to implement it.
Right.
When we're going to start using it, when we're going to start measuring what we're doing with it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting, I think with AI as well right now, there's so many solutions that AI experiments are a really good way to figure that out and maybe shortcut some of the time to not value. Where if there's a piece of AI technology, is there a way to use it in a limited sense so that you don't go through that whole process,
right,
but you can do some sort of evaluation of whether or not it's going to really have the impact that it promises. So we're doing a lot of that internally, is doing little AI experiments rather than doing bet the business moments on technology.
Yeah.
We're doing experiments along the way that help give us some proof that it would be worth actually putting a little bit more wood behind the arrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it.
So one more question for you. What is a piece of technology that you personally are finding great value from today?
I don't use a lot of technology other than my phone, but I would have to say AI, just using as a ADD entrepreneur, white space on a page is scary. But I find that with AI and just rattling off your thoughts and they're on paper right now,
I love that.
Is something that is extremely beneficial to me because, again, being an ADD entrepreneur, when I get a white page in front of me and I'm doing this, it's hard for me to ever finish. And I'm changing it along the way. So to me, like a Perplexity is, or, Gronk, or any of the ones that you would use, but that has been very beneficial for me.
That's awesome.
Yep.
DJ, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Ingaged Podcast. If today's conversation helped you level up your business, follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Know someone who'd benefit? Pass it along. While you're at it, drop us a review and visit Ingaged.io to learn how to create, share, and measure your way to success. Until next time.